In this video, I'm going to talk about breathing and bracing during your lifts. So we call breathing and bracing during our lifts 360-degree breathing. And the reason why we label it that way is I want you to think of your thorax, your core, as a vessel or a tube where you want to get 360-degree expansion the entire way around it when you're breathing in and you're exhaling. Most people, when you start to arch and extend here, the back or the posterior part of that chamber is locked off. You're not going to get any expansion. Your lats are locked down, your paraspinals through your spine are contracting really hard, and when you go to breathe, you're not going to get any expansion through there. And while this might help in the short term to get through, to create enough tension to produce some force to do your lift effectively, over time you're going to get more and more stuck in that position, and that strategy is going to become more and more and more prevalent in everything that you're doing, which is what we want to avoid. At the end of the day, you might be sacrificing a tiny bit of top-end absolute maximal strength, though over the long run that's not true. In the short term that might be true, but your goal is to be a good operator or whatever your job may be, not to be the best power lifter in the world. And again, if you look at the way powerlifting is moving, even high-level powerlifters, especially if you follow like the Kabuki guys, they are now teaching having a more aligned rib cage and pelvis and avoiding this excessive extension, okay? On squats and deadlifts anyways. So 360-degree breathing. Band is really useful. A light band specifically. If you do not have a light band, a belt or a breathing belt, or a lifting belt can be very helpful. As long as it's nice and loose around your midsection, right at your belly button height, okay? Having this here provides a nice proprioceptive feedback. When you take a breath in, you'll feel where that expansion is happening. So for example, if I just belly breathe, I'll only feel my belly push out against the band. If I'm able to take a big deep breath in and get expansion through the sides and my lower back, I'm gonna feel that full expansion. The band helps give that feedback to your brain and helps you be more effective with this. So whether I'm deadlifting, I'm going down here, taking a nice big breath in, and again, we want to think of 360-degree expansion. If we think of chambers through our thorax or our rib cage here, we've got our belly, we've got our upper chest, we've got our lower back, and we've got our mid and upper back. We want expansion through all of those zones, okay? So belly breathing isn't a bad thing, but we don't only want that. So when we're here, we get on the position, big breath in, brace, do the lift. Again, the coordination of the bracing and the movement is going to depend on the movement, but the general theme of keeping the ribs and the pelvis, the rib cage and the pelvis in alignment, getting full 360-degree expansion, and then again managing that bracing as you do the movement as opposed to just extending or using some other extreme tactic to create as much tension as possible is going to be far more effective in the long run. And because when you're in that position, you have the ability to compensate, to move, to shift the emphasis on different muscle groups. And that's going to be where you want to be for what you're doing in your job on a day-to-day basis. You need to be able to continue to move really well and continue to breathe through that position, especially if you're going to do any kind of long duration, you know, heavy rucks, heavy carries, things of that nature. So you need to keep reinforcing this idea of having really ideal position and breathing mechanics, even when you're doing your primary lifts.